And we're back.
101. Coming back with a bang. Full of energy.
We're on the backside of the hunt of the two. I imagined a 200 episode arc. So this is officially the second half of the podcast.
Right. We are halfway
over.
over.
101?
We're at 101.
Very special guest for 101. Very special guest.
Nice.
Fantastic guest. Hilarious comedian, Mr. Joe Zimmerman.
So funny. You got to see his stuff.
You got to see it.
Great to be on here. Great to be here with my boys. Love these guys. You got to check out their podcast. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
He's better at plugging our podcast than we are.
Hey, Joe, tell them where they can hear the podcast.
You can hear the podcast in anywhere your ears can listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
You just Google
what you're hearing right now.
Google.
However you got it while you're listening right now, just keep doing that.
Yeah.
That's a good way to get
right.
Yeah. Anyway, it's great to have you on. Where are you right now? You look very relaxed.
I am in a hotel room in Virginia. I'm on a 2-day vacation playing golf with my father in Virginia. And he puts me up in a hotel now because of COVID.
He puts you up in a hotel.
Lovely.
Your dad's like a good gig.
Yeah, it's a nice gig. Really nice gig. Playing golf for 5 hours, honestly, is more pressure than doing 45 minutes of stand-up comedy.
At this point, yeah, I'd be 1,000% more scared of the golf.
Just to be out there for 5 hours, not to lose it mentally.
Who's better at golf? You or your dad?
Well, I'm sorry to bring you into the topic of golf, so I'll just say quickly that I played Division I college golf.
Oh, see, we did not do our research.
I am better than my father. The last time he beat me, I think I was 12 or 13, probably 13, 14. And I will share this. Golf, always a dead end topic with everybody I talk to, unless it happens to be a diehard golfer, which is very rare. But especially with women, you cannot bring up golf, right? It's just dead. It's just dead.
I'm not a golfer, but I feel like I could talk like casual golf enough, or like, the Masters are coming, whatever. I can talk about that a little bit. But Johnny and women, that's a dead end.
Johnny and women. No, but on that bachelor party, my brother's bachelor party, we went to a driving range, and that's about the extent of my golf in my life. I swung for maybe 10 minutes and got blisters all over my hands. So, yeah. My
you can get
hats off to you.
You can buy a FootJoy golf glove for something like that.
What? A FootJoy golf club?
Golf glove for those blisters.
Oh, okay. Ooh,
golf glove. Yeah.
Well, it might be another long while before I'm at the driving range. So,
but my one anecdote related to golf and resistance is that yesterday I was trying to explain to my good friend Rini, who's a female, that I'm good at golf. I just tell people about it, She was saying her new friend is a golfer, and she goes, she owns her own set of golf clubs. Isn't that amazing? And I said, okay. I wasn't that amazed. And I was like, okay, I played Division I college golf, right? And she was like, I don't know what that means, but don't you think that's impressive? She has her own clubs. She did not. She was unimpressed that I had played college golf and impressed that this person owned clubs. I swear to you. She was like, do you own clubs? I was like, of course I do. She was like, I thought you rented.
Well, I thought when you played college, they just had clubs you could use at the college.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm in Virginia. That's where I am. And it's delightful. I'm in between gigs.
That's funny. That's funny about owning your own golf clubs, because I think that way too. I think anyone who even casually golfs probably has, at some point, was like, just to get into golf, maybe bought a set of clubs or was gifted a set of clubs or something.
Yeah, it's like it's almost like the first step of golf is owning a set of golf clubs.
That's why golf is so elitist. Like the first step is spending like $600 on
And
equipment.
it's true. That is a little backwards. Like you can get into golf, Johnny, by just going to the driving range and hitting clubs that they have there. But for some reason, people are like, you know what? I'm going to get into golf. I'm going to spend $600.
Yeah. But it doesn't work.
Commit.
I'm going to do that, but with bowling. I'm just going to like never try but just buy the most expensive bowling ball I can find. I'm going to get really good at bowling and just own, because you don't meet people anymore who own a bowling ball.
Yeah, just say, you know what? I'm going to get good at bowling. And first, I'll buy the nicest bowling ball.
Right. Step one. It's the most embarrassing thing I can imagine is bringing your own bowling ball to a bowling alley and then not winning.
Just getting
or
balls.
bowling a 90 with your own ball.
Yeah. People just like, oh my God, I thought you were going to be the best bowler I've ever seen live.
It
And
has
now
your initials on it.
my kid is beating you.
It has your initials on the ball.
Yeah. I put every score I've ever had, I carve it into the ball.
And then you have the bumpers up with your own ball.
Yeah. Dude, did you do the bumper bowling when you were a kid? Did they?
Oh,
I know that's like a thing for kids now, but did they have that when you were a kid?
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh. I never did. I would have liked that. I think it would have been more fun. I sucked. I was very bad
Did
at
it once with a group of kids, some sort of kid outing, but it got pretty boring quickly. The kids get impatient with it pretty quickly.
Well, yeah, because at some point I imagine you're just trying to hit the bump. Like the game becomes like, how many times can I hit the bumper?
Yeah, it's no longer how well can I score.
They lose the artistry.
Yes.
How obnoxious can I be in the alley?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And I think kids are aware that you've really removed the skill.
Yeah. You can try and dress it up as competition all you want, but that you've took out the one way to fail.
Yeah. I guess guitar is kind of like the golf clubs too. People are like, I'm going to learn guitar, so I'll buy a guitar first.
I have bought many guitars, and I still can only play maybe the main part of 2 Pink Floyd songs and 1 Fish song.
Why do you keep buying guitars?
Because I forget how to play those 3 songs. No, because I took lessons when I was in grade school, and then I just didn't stick with it. I got frustrated because I wasn't a rock star right away, and then I taught myself in college, and I played for a while, and then I'd lose that guitar, and then it would turn into, it'd break, and I got another one. So I'm probably on my third or fourth guitar as an adult. As when I met my wife's dad is like a musician, like he, a celloist in an orchestra, and so I thought this will be fun. This will be good bonding. Let's go buy a guitar together for me, and so we got a nice one, and I suck at it, and I never play it.
What's the 1 Fish song you play?
I was just going to say the Fish song.
Waste off of Billy Breed's. It's a great song. That was my jam sophomore year in college.
Wow, you were listening to Fish in college?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 98 to 02. That was I saw many Fish shows.
Yeah, that was their peak, I would say.
Yeah, I like a lot of my wife's friends are like really into them now, and they weren't into them then when I thought that was their peak. And so now I'm you're listening to their new stuff? Oh.
I guess they've had a whatever you call it. What do you call it when they a resurgence? Thank you.
There you go.
I've started forgetting vocab words more regularly.
Vocab words. Do you have a separate category of like words versus like vocab words? Like there's words you would never use except to demonstrate your vocabulary.
Yeah, like cumbersome. I said cumbersome the other day, and I hadn't said cumbersome in 4 years at least. You know,
COVID.
word. If you go like 4 years without using a word, how are you supposed to remember it?
Yeah. And
But
then when
then
you do use it, it sounds like you're like journaling. Hey, used cumbersome today. Been
yeah,
a
what a
while.
life.
Yeah.
But then
I
you go
do
on a hot
journal.
streak. Well, then once you say it again, then it's like you can't stop saying cumbersome.
Well, no, yeah.
Yeah.
It
Once you get
becomes,
reintroduced.
yeah, now I've said it a few times.
I know. You're good for the next 10
It's
years.
been a it's been a real cumbersome resurgence for me.
As he drinks his wine. What a professional. You're waiting for your plus break on that. I was, when we were talking before, we was talking about fish. Oh, wait, sorry. Don't spit it on that nice hotel sheets.
I almost spit red wine everywhere.
Your dad's security deposit, or this card will get charged.
I love that you, I didn't even notice I was doing that, and you noticed immediately.
I was thinking before we started talking about fish, I was thinking, what about a comedian who starts doing comedy by buying their own microphone? That would be a good way to get into stand-up. Okay.
Yeah, no, stand up. If stand up had a thing that you had to buy that cost $400, there would be people all over the world that had done stand up once and owned a $400, you know.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Right.
More people would do stand-up if there was some sort of barrier to entry. But because it's like one of the few free things you can start, it's less attractive to people.
You're like, there's no tangible way to start, like to just buy something.
Well, it's like that's why people do it. I think that with golf or with like the guitar, it's a lifestyle you're imagining for yourself. So it's like you see it, you're like, oh yeah, I could see myself as a guitar guy. I could see myself as a golfer, you know? Yeah. And then you obviously have disposable income. So
I saw myself as a guitar guy many a times. It never really clicked. Just never got over that hump.
So I'm curious why it is though, because I played guitar a lot as a teenager, and it is a lot of practicing by yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe jamming with some friends.
Yeah,
or
never
playing
did
in
that. Never did that.
or playing in the high school jazz band. But now that I don't have the high school jazz band or friends to play with, then if I decide to practice, I realize it's just me like watching a YouTube video of how to play a Beatles song.
Yeah.
And I'm just all alone watching a YouTube video, which is like, well, I didn't want to play guitar just to watch more YouTube videos.
yeah, you can do that without the guitar.
Right.
By myself all alone.
Yeah, you get sick. I mean, you're like, you hear a song, you're like, oh, that'd be cool to be able to play, but it takes longer to learn to play it than it does to get sick of the song. You know? So you're sick of the song before you've figured out how to play it, and you're kind of like, That's where my hump
This song sucks.
And
you're jaded.
Yeah, and that's a good point. You get bored with the song because you just listen to it 25 times or more. And once you know the song, what do you do with that? Like, if you play it for anybody, it's like you're a loser.
Right. That's why when Andrew came over here, he was here, so I played him the one song I learned on the piano, and he was like, I'm not much of a music guy. I don't know. I was like, God.
Well, he wanted me to guess the song. It put me on such a weird spot because he's like, okay, what was that song? I was like, it's not because I think you're bad, and it's just I don't recognize it. It was very awkward.
Well, yeah, when you're a kid, you can play a song for people, and they're like, "Yay!" As an adult, you're just a weirdo.
When you're as an adult in your basement with nobody home, just your one buddy. Hey, recognize this?
You want to come over and watch me play?
Night Swimming from 1994.
Also, I feel like other adults, if you're an adult, other adults are like, shouldn't you be better at that instrument by now?
Right.
Like you've lived a full life.
You hit it. It's like with comedy. You hit an age where you're supposed to be like a master. So when you see like older people at open mics, it's so much more disappointing if they just started, because you expect an older person to be really, really funny. At least I do. And it's the same thing with guitar. If like an old guy pulled out like a banjo, you're like, he's gonna rock at that banjo. Like he's gonna be. And then what if he's just barely plinking out "Mary Had a Little Lamb"? You'd be like, oh my God, does he have dementia? This is so sad.
Why is he bothering?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. Just the other day, I ran into somebody in Charlotte, a friend in Charlotte, who we agreed that there's like a perfect window of years to have been doing comedy that's not weird. You know what I mean?
Yes. I think about this a lot.
People ask you how long you've been doing comedy, and if it's like less than 4, they're like, oh, wow, you haven't been doing it very long. But if it's like more than 13, they're like, whoa, you've been doing it a long time.
Oh, and you're at this level? Oh, okay.
I know.
It's like the sweet spot is like 6 to 11 years, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say 10, because like when you hit 10, then it's like sounds like okay, like I don't know, like the 5,000 hour or whatever that is, the hours or. It's like, okay, you're 10 years. Okay, you've learned, you're going to be good. 10.
Yeah.
And I feel like when people hit 10, they usually just keep saying 10 for like the next 3 or 4 years.
I'm
like
going to go back to saying 10, yeah.
Let's just all say 10. 10 until you're at 20. Because then I'm looking forward to where I can just go like, I've been doing this for 30 years, you know, and then nobody care. After a certain number, no one's like counting anymore. Like, well, you should have really gotten this by year 25 or... You know, it's at that point, it's a free-for-all. Also, it depends on the context. Like, if you're checking into the, 4 seasons and someone's like, oh, you're the comedian, you can say, and you say you've been doing it for 16 years. It's like, great, wonderful. But if you're like at some Elks Lodge,
Oh, right.
You know what I mean?
How long have you been doing it? Oh, 16 years?
Like, Jesus.
What happened?
If it's ever a bad gig, I'm just always going to say like 8 years.
Yeah, this is my first time. I'm just trying it tonight.
I'm here for the open.
But yeah, 10 is the sweet spot.
Yeah, let's all just say 10.
Yeah.
12, I'm okay with 12 too.
12
sounds okay.
Yeah. I honestly forget. I have to reverse engineer it almost every time. Like I'm not good with the date. Like, some people celebrate their comedy birthday or like the first time they went on stage.
Yeah.
I have no idea what day that is. I mean, I know the year. I know when I was in college, so I can count it back. But beyond that, I do not.
And the year was 2012. That's a 10-year joke.
Oh, yeah. Now, see how dumb I am? I was literally like, well, okay. That doesn't sound great. No, I had to really think about it.
I'm like pausing to drink water for the laugh.
Looking into the camera. Huh?
Joe's just checking his notes while the waves of laughter from the podcast host succeed.
Oh, there was
Go
ahead, Joe.
I was just going to say enough about me. Let's hear about you guys.
Well, I was just going to tell a story. Because I was telling Andrew before, I went to this open mic, and one of the comics did my favorite thing when comics do. He tells this joke about, some joke about Cain and Abel or having a bigger dick than your brother or something. And the audience is like, he's like, oh, that's why Cain and Abel will kill each other. He was like, oh, you fucked mom with a big dick. And everyone was like, what? And then he goes, oh, God, I guess you guys have never read a Bible. It's like, that's not the problem. That's not the issue.
I love the comic that like says the crowd is stupid.
Right.
Oh yeah.
When they clearly just had the correct reaction.
Right.
I guess it's the Genesis fan club here tonight. Nobody told me. I was on board with the premise. I was like, Cain and Abel, brother rivalry, because one of them has a bigger dick and they're naked But then the fuck the mom thing is like the real turn.
It sounds like the comic mixed it up with Oedipus.
Well, hey, I don't know. I never read the Bible, so I was like, oh, okay.
I know what it is because I used to ask this question in Sunday school, and a lot of kids did. It was like, how, if there was only Adam and Eve, and then they had Cain and Abel, how did all the other people get there? They never talk about like the population. So then this guy is probably leaping to the conclusion that Cain would have sex with his mom Eve to create more and more kids.
Yeah.
Because how else would you do it?
Oh, because there's only Cain and Abel. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because their mom was the only female.
I forget what the Sunday school answer is to that question. I think it's just, please stop asking these questions.
I think that, the answer is just, it's faith. You have to have faith.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to know the Sunday school answer to that question.
I'm sure there's something.
I feel like the answer is probably like, well, after the whole, Apple thing, God put some other people down there as well.
He planted a few other, there were a few other gardens.
Yeah, he threw some nameless strangers out there.
Yeah. Some non-main characters.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we just figured out the answer to that.
Yeah. This is the deepest I think we've ever gotten on this, on the Cavalry.
Deep pre-show banter.
Oh, I was going to say, I find, like you were talking about years in comedy, that is like a useful thing to know sometimes, though, because I find I relate to people the best if I'm pretty close. It doesn't matter what age we are in real life. Like, I could relate to a 60-year-old guy or, 30-year-old guy the same, or woman or anybody. But the years in comedy is the thing that is the connecting tissue. Like, if you're both roughly around the same, because then you're doing the same types of gigs and you have the same kind of concept of like industry or money or, it's just easy. You speak the same language, I feel like.
You're saying that as like all three of us started on the exact same week.
Yeah, 10 years club.
In 2012.
Yeah, that's why I haven't cross-referenced this, but yeah, every guest has been doing comedy exactly the same amount of time as me and Johnny.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. I agree with that. I tend to hit it off. I tend to connect better with people that have been doing the same amount of time.
Because I
know Jono. I feel like Jono's my exact same age, and he's been doing the exact same amount of time as me.
Yeah,
and we're friends.
See, there you go. Jono and you had a podcast, a science podcast, and at the time I didn't know you. I knew Jono pretty well from Boston, but I didn't know you as well. And I assumed you were also a scientist because he was a scientist. I assumed you were a scientist as well because you're very cerebral. You present very intelligent.
I think it's the glasses, but thank you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was.
I just liked reading pop science articles. You're just like, whoa, you're a bro.
I know. You're golfing with your dad. You're not a scientist. You're a D1 golfer.
My involvement in science is that I sometimes read pop science articles or sometimes listen to Radio Lab.
Yeah. Listen to what? Radio Lab?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know what that is.
It's just a show on NPR. That's
is that
popular.
Marvel or DC?
All
right.
This episode's brought to you by Liquid Death. Buried alive.
Oh my goodness. Liquid Death is really taken off.
It really is.
Really has taken off.
Johnny's got the inside. Johnny gets swag. You wore the wrong hat. Johnny's got the
wrong hat. Yeah, because my buddy's like an early investor, so I got like 5 cases delivered to me the other day. I didn't know they had flavors: buried alive, severed lime.
They have flavors? How did he invest? I wish I could invest.
I don't know. I don't know if he's like on the marketing team or if he just got in early. I don't know. Do you want to get into, should we talk about the investing? You guys were texting about your investments. Do you want to get into that?
I would love to.
Well, okay. So I follow you, Joe, on Twitter, and I'm also like a huge oat milk person, fan, whatever. It's like it's so superior in its you know what I mean?
Is that what Oatly is?
That's what Oatly is. It's the leading oat
It's
milk.
the superior brand of oat milk, which is
we have that. I should have recognized it. That's what my wife buys. Oatly.
See, this is exactly what I want to go.
Mm-hmm.
So what I guess
Yep.
I don't know if this is going to steal your thunder, but whatever.
No, I don't have any thunder.
You have no thunder. Good.
Before you say that, should we tell Joe that when I was reading the text, I thought you were talking about Oakley sunglasses the whole time?
Johnny thought we were talking about getting in and investing in Oakleys.
I was
like, hey, before these take off.
Read it. I was like, what? They have hikes.
I just saw this guy at the park. He had the coolest sunglasses.
Oh, Oakleys. I wonder, are Oakleys still being made?
They have to be.
I mean, how lame is a person that's going around wearing Oakleys these days?
I don't know. You don't see them on the golf course ever? There gotta be some Oakleys out there.
You don't see them on the back of people's necks?
So this is what Johnny said is so perfect. So he literally just said, I didn't even know what oat milk was, and then I realized we have some in our fridge. And this is kind of my point, is that every coffee shop I go to, and we're on the road. We're not just going to like New York and LA. We're going to smaller towns, all over the country. Even in the smallest coffee shops where you'd almost be embarrassed to ask for oat milk because you think you're going to get pushback, they have it. And what is it? Oatly.
None of them had it, and none of them had it 2 years ago because I was asking 2 years ago. None of them had it.
They were confused, but they hadn't even heard of it.
Exactly.
And if they don't have it, why don't they have it? They're out of it because they get it asked for so much, and they're still carrying crappy soy and almond that nobody wants that. So they're like literally running out of it. So to me, it's like the same way I think Joe was thinking. It was like, this is a slam dunk. I'm going to buy this stock. And it's like, I feel like it's like what Warren Buffett would say, buy the stuff that you actually use, or you actually understand the product, or, Yeah. And so I was like, this is like a perfect example of that. I feel like it's still like early enough. There's still like enough places for it to grow, like fast food places or whatever. And ever since I bought this oat milk stock, I mean, it is tanked comically. Like, I don't know what they're doing over there, but it is just
you both have invested in it?
I don't know that Joe has, but I have.
Well, I'll share I want to hear what happened to you.
Okay.
I want to share what happened.
Oh, well, anyway, I bought it. I can't remember what number, but like almost a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago.
Well, it IPO'd less than a year ago.
Oh, okay. So I must have bought it right after that. Because I didn't get it like the day of or anything like that, or when it first went public, but I did get it at some point, and I don't think it's gone up one day. I mean, I don't think there's been one good week for Oatly since I've been on board. But I hang on to it because I'm like, it doesn't make any sense.
So I think So I think it's going to pay off for you eventually, Andrew. I think you went with the one piece of Warren Buffett's advice about buy what you understand, but you forgot about his main piece of advice, which is buy things at a good price.
Oh, I never heard that part. I heard the part that I wanted to hear and then stopped listening.
Because a lot of the IPOs last year, so the stock, I was a little bit addicted to stocks last year, and now I'm off it. But all the IPOs last year were just going bananas. Like, people were just going crazy for IPOs, and Oprah was behind Oatly and Natalie Portman, and it was priced at some point at like $15 billion as a company, like right after the IPO.
Mm-hmm.
And its profit up to that point was like, 40 million a year revenue or something. Anyway, it didn't make sense to be worth 15 billion as a company.
I see.
So now it's gone, but now it's probably at a point, I haven't looked. Now it's probably at a point where it's probably a good bargain now.
Yeah,
I think so. I should get in now.
You should get in now, yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
Wow.
I have also lost, but not, I don't know how much you bought, but all I did was, because I saw it was so high, all I did was put a little $50 automatic monthly investment. So I'm like 12 months in on Oatly on $50 investments.
Oh, okay.
But I'm just going to keep those going.
Well, it is
I'm
like one of those
passionate.
things.
I'm passionate about Oatly.
It's like I'm the same way. I've never felt stronger about, like, because they figured it out. Like, whatever. It's like, okay, the world needs to get off of cows or something. Like, if we're gonna live in this future where everyone's a vegan one day or something, like, this is the thing. Like, it's actually better than milk. Like every other milk substitute is worse than milk by a lot, and this is like, I would almost say, better than milk.
Yes.
And so, like,
exactly.
It's just such a home run. I don't understand how it can be stopped. But
the only other obstacle for Oatly is all of the competitors in that market.
Oh, there's other, right. Well, see, that's the confusing part. Is what you want to do is buy it as like a commodity or something, like oats.
That's so funny. 4 years ago, I kept asking I have like 2 financial friends. I kept asking them how to buy oats as a commodity because of how much oat milk was going to take off. And I've 100% nailed it. Oat milk has taken off over the last 4 years, but I could not figure out how to buy futures
Right.
in oat milk. It's so frustrating.
I know.
So frustrating.
And also, I will say,
by the way, you can buy oat futures, but apparently oat milk only makes up 2% of the total oat market.
so it's not a good way to be representative of oat milk success.
So if you buy oat futures, you're getting mostly oats, other stuff.
You got to eat Cheerios like crazy.
But I try. But I love that you've been investing in Oatly because I've really bent over backwards trying to figure out how to play this oat craze.
By the way, it doesn't matter if you have the glasses on or not anymore. You've lost all your bro status when you talk about trying to get in on oat futures.
That sounds like a bro thing to be into futures.
No, Bitcoin. If you were talking about everyone's going like NFTs or Bitcoin. You're like, oats, people. The original Bitcoin, wheat.
Well, if there's one thing I do know, it's like fancy coffee drinks.
Yes.
So,
I mean, it's just so, like, they're gonna get rid of. And it's funny too, because remember almond milk? I remember when almond milk was like the premier milk substitute.
Yeah, and it's garbage compared to oats.
It's garbage, and it got a lot of blowback because almonds take a lot of water to grow, and there was a big drought in California, and it still is, and so it was like
almond farms require a lot of water for an almond farm.
So it was like
Johnny. We lost Johnny. Johnny's trying to hang in there.
What's so funny is we'll do a segment on the show called Appliance Talk, and this is more boring.
That's where I shine. That's where I shine.
He's like, can we just talk about microwaves again?
You can see like Johnny like trying to figure out where he could jump in, but
okay, I'll loop Johnny in, because if you went to like Culver's, right?
Which I did today for lunch.
Perfect.
Nice.
And if they were like, hey, we've switched to oat milk milkshakes or ice cream or whatever.
Right.
Would you have like a reaction that like, fuck that, I'm not having one of those? Or would you
no, because I mean, we did my wife we went through we were silk almond milk, whatever, and then switched to oat, and it's different at first, and I'm like, whatever, I guess this is what the house is getting. So then I just get used to it. So now I'm just like,
you were so close to doing your trademark. I don't give a shit. Who gives a shit?
I like that. You're like, this is what the house gets now.
Yeah. Like how powerless are you to what milk
I'm not. That's just not a battle I care enough to.
But she made the right decision.
Yeah, you should trust her because she's 100% in the right.
It sounds like it. I mean, these two intelligent gentlemen are all raving about the oat.
And I think there's still room for Oatly to grow, because I think as much as we're in on it, we're like coastal elites, but except for Johnny, we're technically coastal elites. And a lot of middle America.
I'm barely a coastal elite. Yeah, but go ahead.
And I think a lot of middle America still doesn't really know.
Well, or
still like, it's kind of like, oh, it's not.
Yeah.
So middle America is like behind. So once it catches up, that's when. So I should get in on it now.
Yeah, and worldwide.
Well, I think Oatly's the leading brand in the oat space, also known as the white space.
Okay.
It's a growing space, but there are a lot of competitors, kind of like Beyond Meat or Impossible Meat. Like, which one do you pick? Do you just pick both of them?
Does Silk make oat milk?
Not that I know.
What is their biggest competitor?
Chobani is a big one.
Yeah.
And Pacifica. Pacifica is crappy oat milk, but they're doing well for some reason. Chobani, Pacifica.
Well, and then I think the old-fashioned dairy companies will get in on it if they're smart.
Will they? I feel like dairy companies are like taxi cabs right now.
I don't know.
They're gonna double down.
Only time will tell. Stay tuned to this space.
The white space is growing fast.
That sounds so racist.
If you want, but not to be racist, if you want to really blow your mind, Johnny, try chocolate Oatly.
Oh, okay, I will.
It's amazing.
I'll tell my wife to get that for the house.
So yeah, but I haven't checked any stocks for 4 months now, so that's where I'm
okay. So talk about that. That's what you need backup on, or what you kind of were talking about in the text. But so what happened there?
I think there was a lot of downtime in the pandemic alone, and I felt like I was handling it well. I think I was, but I was becoming increasingly oblivious to my sort of compulsive behaviors towards stocks during that time. And I just kept reading more and more about companies, listening to more stock podcasts, just getting deeper and deeper into it. And it's not a thing that I really know any. It's not like, no matter how many podcasts I listen to, I'm not going to be able to outsmart Wall Street on stock. So there's really no point for me to go that deep in on it.
So it's like a gambling compulsion.
It totally is
a little bit of a gambling, yeah.
Because that's the sports gambling thing. Is people think they watch, if I just watch enough Sports Center, I'll be able to predict who wins, yes. And it's that's not the way it works at all.
It's like Vegas is aware that you're doing your due diligence.
Vegas is accounted for LeBron James. They factored him into. No, I think that. Sometimes I'm so stupid, but I'll bet on sports, and I try to only do it when I'm in Las Vegas, and I'll think oh, this team, it's a second of a back-to-back. They're gonna be tired, as if that information is not factored in to the line, But it's whatever.
Oh, you know what the Holy Grail though is? I think the Holy Grail that gets a lot of people riled up about stock picking is that multiple academics have basically put out papers proving that no stock picker can outperform the S&P 500 index over time. That you're much better off to just put your money in the S&P 500 index. And that statistically speaking, a few people outperform S&P 500, but it makes sense because if you flip a coin, some people are going to outperform. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, so the Holy Grail is like, well, I bet I can outperform that S&P 500 with my picks.
I go to a lot of coffee shops, okay?
And for about a year, it was outperforming, and I was like, I'm seeing in the matrix. I'm seeing the matrix. But the whole point of that is that it's really over 10 years that things kind of even out.
Well, there's a famous bet between like Warren Buffett and some guy. Yeah.
I got an investing brother over here, Scott Lee, on the Zoom.
I only read one article about Warren Buffett.
Is that about the bracket?
It was $1 million to charity. Warren Buffett bet this hedge fund manager that the hedge fund manager would underperform the S&P 500, and the hedge fund manager got crushed by the S&P 500.
Well, it started out, so it was during the recession or something, and so it started out, and the hedge fund manager was way ahead because he was able to pick areas during the recession that would be less affected, and it was kind of like, but then during the recovery, he got destroyed because he's trying to pick like the right, and then the market just beats you.
Oh, you know what you might have fun with is I actually posted my picks publicly. You might be able to tell me how horribly they've done.
Oh yeah, I'll look them up.
This was back at the height of my addiction and my what's the word I'm looking for? Like what was Icarus doing?
Flying too close to the sun.
Just at the height of having too much confidence. I posted a blog called "Comedian Destroys Wall Street." And wow, I guarantee these stocks have done poorly.
Okay, I'm gonna try and find them. Hang on. But you're so serious.
You look at them.
You're so serious about this.
I haven't looked.
You won't look. Did you have to like delete apps off your phone and stuff, like the stock market?
Yeah, I deleted apps and blocked like Google Finance.
Wow, so it was like serious.
Yeah, it was just like a compulsive habit to check. It was like a checking habit. I don't know if it was OCD or what.
Wait, so if Andrew checks these, is this going to trigger you?
Yeah, I don't want to relapse you. I feel like
my brain is like trying to get around.
I'm not going to do it.
I'm not going to do it. Was just
maybe I can get these podcast hosts to tell me so that I don't have to look it up.
I feel horrible now. I feel like
a loophole.
There's the comedy club where I started in Seattle. The owner was he was like from Utah. He's like Mormon, but like barely. I don't know. But anyway, he didn't drink, and so one of my friends, Mike Cummings, who we had on the show before, he was an alcoholic in recovery, drug addict, but he was recovered for many years. And this guy Terry, the owner, would always be like, "Well, what would happen if you just had one beer?"
Really?
Yes. You're like, you'd really go crazy if you just had one beer.
Who said that to him?
The owner of the comedy club, Terry Taylor. And then he would go, Mike would explain to him, no, I wouldn't go crazy, but then, after, if I had one, and then maybe a couple weeks later, you wouldn't see me for a while, and it would be like a slow. But I really think Terry was just annoyed that he wasn't buying beers at the club.
Wow, that is quite the full court press.
But what would happen? Just check one stock. I mean, would you really go back into it?
No, you're right. My brain was just trying to find a loophole.
No, we won't do it.
How my picks are doing.
Well, hey,
but I do think Oatly was in there, and Oatly's down.
Well, that one I've spoiled that one for you. It is. But you're right. It's gonna. That's one I'm so confident about. I don't even sweat it. I'm just like, whatever. It's just a matter of time.
I can't wait to get in on that.
I agree. Yeah. Oatly's. If you get Oatly right now, it's at it's at the point where everybody's given up on it, which is you're going to get the best value you could possibly get on it.
You know what? You talked. I'm gonna reinvest. I'm gonna
Well, don't
double dip.
Don't go too hard. Don't go too hard. You can what's the word? You can cost average. You can dollar cost average.
No, I'm going
Over
all
time.
in. Selling everything.
No.
It's going all on Oatly. Take that, Warren Buffett. Okay. Well, was there anything else, Joe,
that you needed backup on?
Oh, thank you for giving me backup on not checking stocks just now.
Yeah, that was backup from us. Yeah, don't do it.
Backup.
No.
Stay strong.
That was nice backup. What else? Well, I'm trying to think. I was writing a lot of fiction, but that's not very interesting to talk about. And I was writing, so that wasn't really resistance.
Getting washboard abs, moving out of your apartment, getting a dog. Those are what you
So
texted.
yes. So I have been dieting and lifting for 3 months straight now. And I have a big, no matter how much I work out and diet, I can't seem to get anywhere close to those final abs definitions.
What's the goal? Just to have impressive abs or to lose weight, bulk up?
I want to post a picture like Kumail Nanjiani that blows people's minds.
That would absolutely blow. If you were on the cover of Men's Health, just jacked,
Yeah.
that would blow some minds.
I just want to shock the nation with my body. That's all.
All right,
That's
so
it.
you're smart. You're starting small. Okay.
But I have gotten in shape slowly over the last 3 months, so I've been making progress.
Well, I watched this movie last night. I'm gonna back you up that it's impossible and it's not natural to have like those incredible abs. Because I watched this movie last night called Mr. Roberts. It's like an old movie with oh God, who's the guy in it? Anyway, it's just an old movie from like the 50s, and it's about World War II and these guys on a ship in the Navy. And they, at one point, it's all these really in shape sailors, you know. And at one point, they take their shirts off to go jump. And it occurs to you, if this movie was happening now, they would all be like male supermodel ripped bodies. But they were all like just good, normal in shape dudes who had regular bodies. But nobody had like abs the way you see them now in the movies. They were all just like normal, like flat stomachs, but just that's the way people looked for like a long time. Like nobody ever even thought about it.
Oh yeah.
And it's like a recent thing, I think.
Can I just ask, what was the motivation? I'm going to sound very naive here, but as you were describing that movie, I just was thinking, there is no way I would never put a movie I've never heard of that's super old.
Well, it's supposed to be very good. I will tell you the truth that my mother-in-law is staying with us and my wife's grandfather, and they highly recommended it and said it was very funny. And we were talking about who's like not Walter Matthau, but the other guy in the Jack Lemmon. We were talking about Jack Lemmon, and he's in it too.
Oh, okay.
And they're like, oh, if you want to see Jack Lemmon like in one of his best movies, they said that's the one. So that's how
it's like, is it so old it's black and white? You said.
No, it's in color, but like one of the early ones where the colors are too, where like someone was drawing the orange in or however they did it.
Yeah, like Miracle on 34th Street color version.
Yeah.
What do they call that? What's the word for that color? I think there's a vocab word.
Oh, Technicolor?
Is
that right? Vocab word, number 3 of the day.
Nice.
But yeah, so I'm going to back you up saying that not only are abs difficult to get, I don't even know if it's like you're supposed to have them.
Right.
The way you see them, the way Kumail has shocked the world with.
It's just so annoying that he could pull that off, Why can't I pull that off? I mean, what is he's just a guy.
Yeah, you're right. maybe I guess that's what's frustrating about it, is that he's a comic and that you knew him when, so you were like aware of him not existing as this guy. It's like you wouldn't be mad about Jason Momoa or I don't know, Channing Tatum or whoever, because you didn't. But if you went to high school with those guys, you would remember them as schlubs or whatever, and you'd go, "Hey, what the?" But I think what I do, and I would think a lot of people do, is you chalk it up to the personal trainer. Oh, they're rich. They have a chef. They have a personal. I could do that too if I had, limitless resources.
A lot of people chalk it up to limitless resources, like NBA, like LeBron and Chris Paul supposedly spent $1 million on their bodies last year.
Right. So you're like,
But,
like
I don't know how much Kumail spent on his body.
I don't know either. All that meltdown money went straight to the personal trainers.
I mean, he was in a Marvel movie, I guess.
Well, that's the thing. Which came first? Did he get cast in the Marvel movie, and then they were like, you're going to need to get ripped? And then, of course, at that point, you would just do whatever it takes. Or did he get ripped for the audition for the Marvel? That takes a lot more.
That's a bold ask, though, to ask just some average schlub, hey, you're cast. We're going to need you to be in Men's Health cover shape in about 6 months.
Well, maybe Marvel's just that confident that they can do that to anybody, They must have maybe they have their own program. They have their own super soldier program.
I'm gonna say it was somewhere in between, and Marvel was like, hey, we're considering 3 guys for this part. We really need you to get jacked if you want the part.
Ooh.
Okay.
So that's my thought.
And then the other 2 guys just didn't get jacked enough. It was
so
Jonah Ray.
To know he was in the running.
It was Jonah Ray. Yeah.
Jonah Ray and Emily, and neither of them could get strong enough.
Nice meltdown references.
I know. I'm stuck on it now. I'm in a loop. So I'm with you. I've started going to Orange Theory, and because I'm the type of person who needs someone to tell me exactly what to do to exercise. Like
Orange Theory?
Have you heard of Orange Theory? It's like it's kind of like a gym, but they're like classes. So it's not.
Okay.
It's not the bicycle. It's like treadmill and then body weight, kind of weight exercise type stuff. Rowing machine.
I've been doing the Peloton classes, but not bicycle, just their workout classes.
Yeah. I like it, but like I literally Googled, I was like I definitely feel like I'm in better shape or whatever, but I literally Googled, when do you start to see results from Orange Theory? Like how many classes?
How long have you been doing it?
Like I think I've done 10.
Well, you need more than 10. Another thing is I've been occasionally traveling with this personal trainer from working with Bargatze every now and then. Who brought a personal trainer along. And the trainer says it's all about calories.
I know. I hate when I hear that too.
I know.
I mean,
that's why I just give up. It's like, well, why am I trying?
Of course it's true, but just like, you know what I mean? That's like someone being like, you're like trying to put on makeup. They're like, it's really about genetics.
Right.
Like, yeah, but can we just pretend?
So I guess the nice thing about it was he basically convinced me that you can get on a 1,700 calorie diet and you can kind of like sort of skip breakfast and you can eat. And he actually got me sold on a chocolate Halo Top ice cream. Are you familiar with Halo Top?
Yeah, I went through a Halo Top phase, and I'm like, you think it's good because you're like, oh, because you haven't had regular ice cream, in a while, once you have Halo Top, you're eating it. You're like, this is fine. And then if you keep doing it, you can trick. But then if you ever go back to real ice cream, you're fucked.
The thing
what is Halo Top?
It's like diet ice cream.
But it's not that. Well, so I used to think it would be horrible, but the chocolate, I think, is actually okay. It's kind of like fluffy ice cream. And the thing is, the whole container, Johnny, the whole container.
You're selling it by saying it's actually okay. No, well, you know what's better than okay?
Here's what's nice about it, though. The whole container is 300 calories, and it has protein in it.
Okay.
And so you can sit there and eat cold, fluffy chocolate ice cream, and you can eat a whole container of it, and you can feel not guilty at all, because that would be the equivalent of one scoop of Ben & Jerry's.
Well, let me tell you what I eat before I go to bed. A whole container of Ben & Jerry's.
And Johnny feels zero guilt.
Andrew knows.
No, but Johnny to me is proof about the calorie thing. Like you really figured it out. Johnny was like, if I just run 16 miles a day, I can eat whatever I want.
Yeah, my wife compares me to a Marvel character too. She said, I got new headshots, and she's like, why do you look like Captain America before the experiment? Oh, that's what I was going for.
No, but you've lost weight. I mean, since we've started this podcast, you have not changed your eating habits. I don't, at least that you haven't said that.
Well, it's since moving to Madison, I just started running like a maniac. Well, and coming off the road, I have faced, fast food way less when we were all in lockdown and all that.
How far are you running?
I on average is like 5 miles, but I mean, I ran a marathon for the first time in November, so I really got into it.
How do you get your joints and knees and stuff to not break down?
I just haven't been doing it long enough. I'm sure they will very soon.
That's the key.
Every winter, my knees bother me, but then when it warms up, I'm like, oh, there we go. We're back.
If you're like a little kid listening to this, just don't ever run. Just like at recess, just sit there. You're fine.
Save it.
You don't need to burn calories right now. Wait till you're 36, and then you can run. And run until you're 90.
Is that real? You got into running late in life?
I mean, I used to, because my family's like a bunch of runners, but I hated running. I thought it was so stupid, and I always hated it, but I always tried to do it, and I could never run more than a couple miles. And then for some reason, ironically, after we moved from LA back to the Midwest, I was just like, I just loved running. Like I like where I live, so I'd run around, and I was like, I think I would just do longer and longer runs. I signed up for a half marathon. I was like, I want to do a marathon. So then I just, did the Hal Higdon training schedule for a marathon and did it.
And how old's your child?
My oldest is 9 and my youngest is 3.
And you've been running for about 3 years.
Yeah. Like seriously running for 3 years, yeah.
Right about
less, probably less.
No, that's cool. But Madison will be intense because it's like 12 degrees there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I run because I do the Nike Run Club, so it takes like a screenshot when you're done, and like I ran like 5 miles in like 2 degrees, and I got like snow and ice all over my beard. It's pretty, it's intense. But yeah, when it's cold, my knee hurts. So I just wait till summer and it stops hurting. Yeah, I've been pretty fortunate to not have any running injuries yet.
What do you do with like the ice? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you not, when you run in Madison?
It hurts your lungs.
No. But I mean, like, that, but then like your footing. Aren't you like constantly afraid to slip?
Yeah, if it's like that, like if it's like fresh, then I will. I mean, I have slipped, and it fucking hurts.
Oh, so you found a way to deal with it then? Your pain receptors just tell you that it hurt when you fall.
Yeah,
okay.
No, if it's like super slick, I'll either run on the snow, like next to the sidewalk.
God, you're like Rocky.
Thank
just
you.
Think just think how thin and ripped you'd be though if you were eating Halo tops.
I can't get any thinner. I got to put on weight. I got to figure out how to add
That's
math.
the thing. He actually has to put on weight. It's very frustrating for me.
I went from chubby to, oh, you look gaunt. Like I never got complimented. Like when I had this, because like over the pandemic, half my body just disappeared apparently from all the feedback I've been getting. Like, oh my God, you lost so much weight. But I never got, oh, you look good. It's always, you look sick. Yeah, you look gaunt. Like I bypassed the healthy, thin. I just went from chubby to, oh.
That's how you know. That's how you know you're not a model, because there's no ideal weight for you.
Right.
Or maybe you're supposed to be like crazy fat. Maybe you would look your best as like a 300-pound, big, huge fat guy. You know, some people that is
only one way to find out.
You can't do it. You're addicted to running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do eat terrible. I literally did have Culver's for lunch today. I was not making that up. Like, I do not eat well.
Joe, do you drink at all?
Just this one red wine.
Yeah. See, I think that's why, like, I usually only have like a glass of wine or something, or a couple beers maybe, but that's like the hidden calories that then I feel guilty about. Like if I go to a comedy club and have like 2 hoppy beers and I go, oh man, that was probably like eating ice cream or whatever.
I know it is annoying to calorie count. I agree.
Yeah.
It'd be nice
I don't know if it's my upbringing. I have never been bothered. I have never even thought about the calories of what I've eaten.
Well, you're gone. You need more calories. But you apparently had I'm surprised. I'm shocked that you had a chubby phase.
Yeah. After college, and then before.
Well,
this.
you weren't. I don't know.
I wouldn't say chubby, but I had the beard hid. Like if I had a beard, I looked thinner than if I didn't, because it was like, you know.
You had a fuller face. Like the headshot that gets used for you a lot before you got these new ones done. Definitely, it looks like you have a different head shape.
People will sit there, they're like, this doesn't look like you. I'm like, oh, I know, this is my pandemic hair. And they're like, no. The face. The face doesn't look like you.
This is my pre-gaunt days before I got all gaunt.
Yeah.
Well,
I want to look up the Johnny Beaner headshot.
No, it's not. You're not.
You got a night ahead of you.
Fat.
Yeah, it's not fat.
But Joe, you look great. You have a great face, perfect. I think you're doing great. I don't think you need to calorie count anymore. Is there? Do you really adhere to the 1,700 calories, or is it like a guide, like a goal?
I've just been trying for a month to see if I could become shredded, and I haven't really noticed much difference. I have noticed on this last tour I did last week, I would get painfully hungry on stage.
Ugh.
So I decided to maybe that wasn't a good idea to keep doing that.
It's just very cranky.
At least not when I'm performing.
Yeah. You're lashing out a lot more.
Just painfully hungry, yeah. So it wasn't working great in terms of that. But of course the calorie people would be like, well, that's a sign you just need more protein.
Right. Yeah. It's the type of calories, I guess. I don't know.
So
I kind of think this is a dumb guy's thought on it, but for a while, like I do eat a lot. Like I can eat a lot in one sitting, you know, and I like to eat. I just like all types of foods and stuff. So it's hard to say no sometimes, but I always kind of worked with the theory that like your stomach is like trained to get bigger the more you eat. But if you could get past those, because I get really hungry too. It's like if I could just, you know, get past those moments, my stomach would start to shrink a little bit, and I wouldn't be as hungry all the time.
I have heard that's it. I mean, I have experienced and heard that that's a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm trying. Why I'm telling you that, but
you're supporting me. I appreciate.
I'm trying to support you.
You're saying just see the pain through.
Well, yeah, that actually feels like now I'm not supporting you, and I'm like yelling at you like this personal trainer.
But the idea is what? That the stomach shrinks if you see the pain through, right?
Yeah.
I've heard that.
I'm in month 3 of attempting to get in shape, and I'm definitely in much better shape than I was 3 months ago. So that's something.
Yeah. Or you could just get the surgery.
Oh yeah, just do that.
Plastic surgery?
No, the stomach. What if you went in for gastric bypass?
Gastric bypass as like a normal sized guy.
Yeah, it's like a very, very good shape, like guy, very healthy person. And you're like, no, I just don't want to be hungry anymore. So give me the gastric bypass.
I just want washboard abs. Please give me a bypass.
Well, maybe that's how Kumail did it.
They just surgically put him in.
Yeah.
I do think like the HGH might be the answer.
Remind me what that is?
That's like the human growth hormone, like the steroids.
So some people
it's common.
I like that you said remind me what that is, because I was going to say, well, what the fuck is that? But you
know these movie stars?
I knew what that was, but remind me again.
You think these guys are all 65 years old, jumping out of airplanes, with rocket launchers on their shoulder, looking shredded? You think that's all natural? They're taking steroids, HGH.
So my personal trainer friend said that Kumail was probably definitely on something.
See, there you go.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here. We're just lobbing bombs.
Joe Zimmerman planes.
You heard it third hand.
You heard third hand, and also very likely not the first time you may have heard this. You heard it here.
Third hand from somebody's guess. But see, that's again, we're like, when anybody achieves perfect body,
right,
we're like, they had to have money, probably did illegal drugs.
It's not fair.
They couldn't have just done that through willpower.
No. Discipline?
Yeah, no way. Discipline, no.
Impossible. I've tried it.
Well, do you really eat a whole Ben and Jerry's at night, Johnny?
If I open one, I am finishing it. Every night, no. But there was a stretch where I'd probably put down 3 or 4 in a week.
Tonight dough.
But then I've gotten so many reactions that it scared me. Like, people are like, what? And I'm like, what? Isn't that hilarious? They're like, I don't know how long you're gonna live.
No, when I was younger,
that probably is super unhealthy.
When I was living in LA and like in my 20s and stuff, I would not have thought that was weird at all. It's just now at this age, it becomes like,
yeah, everyone talks about it at this age. But I mean, it looks like a serving size, right?
Because it's in that pint. Yeah, that's the exact amount it could be. If it was even 1 ounce more than that, it'd be like, this is for multiple people. Right. But because it's that size, you're like, yes, I can hold this in my hand. You can hold one in your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about for a new funny credits to be introduced, to be brought up as, like, if you're starting out in comedy, you try to think of funny credits.
Mm-hmm.
How about you may have seen him eating Jimmy Fallon's Tonight Dough. You may have seen him eating Stephen Colbert's American Dream. Please welcome Johnny Beaner.
Forget starting out. Use that now.
Yeah,
I'm going to start using that.
That is fantastic.
And if the host botches it at all, I'm going to like get really upset at them.
And then the feature has to use credits like, you may have seen, he won the 2021. All right, I lost my. I got nothing. I've ran out of steam. I was gonna say like you won a comedy contest of the Ben & Jerry's. It's anyway. The joke is already that you were eating the ice cream. That anyone could do that. I don't know why I was trying to go. I just completely. It's whatever.
That is going to be my new. I almost promise you that's going to be my new intro for the next 6 months until somebody tells me to stop.
Then the MC will butcher it too.
Yeah, that's when you'll stop. Is when you get sick of them messing it up.
Yeah.
Or they just they deliver it in a way that
right.
Do
you ever give credits to an MC like they're earnestly asking you, and then you go? I always think it's better to just give them credits, even though sometimes it feels lame. Or, it feels braggadocious. But when I was an MC, I would like to have something to say rather than someone just say whatever, just bring me up. I that was more uncomfortable than if I had like 1 to 2 concrete things to say.
Yeah.
But then sometimes
very much agree.
Yeah, sometimes an MC will like ask like, what should I say? And I say like 2 specific things, and they'll just say 2 specific things that were not those. So they'll invent 2 credit, like fake ones.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, then just say the fake ones. I don't care, but it's just funny to me.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely easier as the host to have one of the harder things as a host is when somebody says just say whatever, and you're like, well, now I got to work to figure out what to say.
Now I got to Google you.
I just realized I have a pet peeve. I thought I had become zen with comedy, but I just noticed the pet peeve I've increasingly had the last year. And good comics will say, some good comics will do it too. So it's like, I'm not judging the person for saying it, but it still bothers me when somebody brings you up by saying, this next comedian's very funny, the hilarious. I'm like, I don't want you to put funny or hilarious in front of me because I'm already a comedian. Like, it feels like it's knocking me down a peg that you're trying to convince
it's almost
them.
Condescending.
Right.
It feels like you're trying to convince, like, obviously you wouldn't say that about, Kevin Hart, the very funny Kevin Hart.
But I think they do. Now I'm picturing like Kevin Hart being introduced on the Tonight Show or something. And I think a lot of people fall into that trap.
I think good comics do it too, but for some reason it feels like when I hear it, it makes me think, oh, this guy's gonna be sweating bullets the whole time on stage.
Yeah. The super confident, definitely ready for this moment. Give it up.
Yeah.
My favorite credit thing is when I was at some comedy green room and I was looking at all the posters, and they'll do that thing where they'll put the actual logo of the TV show or whatever. So if you were on the Tonight Show, they'd put the Tonight Show logo in the corner on your comedy club poster. And some comedians will put like you may have seen this guy on NBC or CBS. And it's just I was just thinking, who's the audience member is like, hey, do you want to go see that guy from Fox tonight? He's my favorite CBS comic.
And it was like a man on the street local news piece.
Yeah, always, or a commercial. It's always a commercial, but yeah. It's always something like that.
I get to film. I'm going to use this credit left and right if I'm on there even for a second, because this Friday I'm playing golf with Brian Regan and it's being filmed by the Golf Channel. And I'm going to be listing Golf Channel left and right for the next 10 years if I get on there at all.
And it'll open you up to a whole new world of gigs too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, they won't need to say he's funny. They'll know as soon as they hear Golf Channel.
You may have seen this next fella on the Golf Channel.
Leave the ladies and kids at home. This next comic, straight from the Golf Channel.
But I'll tell you what, my corporate rate's doubling as soon as I get that credit.
Come on.
Right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Got you threatening there.
You guys know what I'm talking about.
Oh, my God.
Whoa.
Put those back on.
Joe.
All right, Joe. We should end there. But do you have very good at this? Do you have anything you'd like to promote or have people listen to or find on the internet or anything like that? Golf Channel, we're already excited about that.
I've been really grinding on Instagram lately, trying to put videos out there. Just
Excellent.
Hustling and grinding. I've got a lot of videos in the pipeline. At Joe Zimmerman on Instagram.
Zimmerman.
And that's about the main thing. I have albums out you can find.
But it's a good landing page. Just go to the Instagram and then go from there.
Yeah, I mean my topical Chris Rock joke.
Oh, great!
I posted yesterday.
I saw that.
I mean, I had to spend an hour putting captions in. Feel like a real idiot, but I posted it.
No, it was very funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm this close to getting a guy. So if you come to my page, you'll get to see what somebody else captioned. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
I know, because then sometimes I see people do it where the captions are like automatically. You can tell it was done by the the Instagram or whatever.
Yeah.
But I actually I don't like it, but I find it helpful sometimes to write the captions because I'm cursing myself every other word I have to type. I'm like, I didn't need to say that.
Oh, yeah.
Why did I say this? And it's like a good editing technique.
You're right.
But then I don't actually edit. And then I'll do this bit the same stupid way again the next night.
I'd like to compliment you on your Rockstar joke from your album.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Comes out. It'll be out when that album will be available to get when you're hearing this.
Oh yeah, this will drop on the 11th.
Hopefully this is a compliment because I haven't seen you perform in a few years. I mean, probably since I did your LA show that I can think of. And I was doing this new club in Batavia, Illinois, and the owner texted, "You're going to love our manager. He's a rock star." And I was like, I feel like that would make a good bit. And then I was like, wait a minute, I think that is a bit. and then I emailed Jono. So I had an idea that it was in your vicinity. And Jono was like, yeah, that's Andrew Slater.
Thank God for Jono. We brought it all back.
And then I remembered, and then I saw your late night clip, and it was very, very well executed.
Well, thank you very much. Rockstar. That was a great transition for me to plug my own shit. Rockstar, available now. Go get it.
Does it come out on Friday the 8th?
The 7th, Thursday.
Oh, okay, Thursday the 7th. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, that Andrew, he's a real rock star when it comes to plugging his album.
Johnny?
Des Moines Funny Bone.
Hell yeah.
This the 15th, 16th, April, this Friday, Saturday.
All right.
Yes.
Well, thanks everybody.
Who's the woman that manages Des Moines?
Leisha.
Oh, it must be somebody different than it used to be.
Wait, leash? Like, did you mean to say leash? Like with an SH?
Leisha.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thought you just had like a list.
She runs the Des Moines Funny Bone.
Right.
Well,
all right. Patreon members, listen to the post-show banter.
Post-show banter. You got to be on the Patreon. Leave a review, and we'll talk about it on the show. And that's it. Thanks, everybody, for listening to The Cavalry.